Hey guys, welcome to another session of web designing and development. So in this session, we are going to take a look on how to create a login screen, a login page, where we will actually create our login sign up page or a prompt where people they can put in their email and their password in order to actually check out. But what we are trying to do right now is just a sample way of how you can create a login page. And as we are doing that, we are also learning the DOM. We are also learning the listeners of JavaScript. And we are also learning event handlers in JavaScript. So this is just an introduction, a hands-on introduction on these criteria. So let's get back into our video. So I have a blank document right here. So this blank document is where we are going to create all our files. I already opened the files. I already opened the VS Code in an empty folder, and we'll create this from scratch. So on HTML and CSS, I'll be as fast as possible because we already learned that before. I'll also be a little bit fast on JavaScript. But anyway, let's get back into our tutorial. So first of all, I will create an index.html file. Once it is created, let me create the HTML boilerplate, and I will actually name this page login page, and off I go. Once I have done that, I need to create a container. So this container is going to be used in coming up with our CSS, and also it's going to wrap our contents, our form inside the container. So to create a class of a container in a div, I can just write dot container, just like this, and click tab. And inside that container, I can just write a label of our login page. I can just say dot label, just like that. So in this case, I can just put maybe user login, just like that. Then let us create our form. So in order to create our form, what I need to do is to explicitly put a form element in HTML. I can just write form. Then I want to add a login class. So I can just write login underscore form. So that is our login class. Click tab. So these are short forms of our, these are short criteria of our, of writing our CSS code. You can actually check this one through Emit, which is an extension for VS Code to write short forms, to write code in short forms, which accelerate your productivity. So on action, what do we need to do after we have created a submit button? I want to go to the home page. So remember that we actually include this file inside our project that we have created so far. So you need also to include this file. I've already told you how to use anchor tags and whatnot. So you include that is your assignment, and I'll actually give you the solution later on in this course when we will be hosting our website on GitHub, and also we'll learn a little bit of version control. So let us put the method here. So generally on a method, you don't have to actually spend your time to put an effort to know about methods. But anyway, if you are creating a web application where you are posting your information on the database, you'll be using post, whereby you post something inside your database. So let us give a form a name called form. It's not a big deal, it's just form. And we'll add something here. This something is called an event handler. What do we want to do when we submit something? So there is an event handler called on submit. So on submit, what do we want to do? We want to return a function, a JavaScript function called updated. So what do we mean by this? We mean that when our form is submitted, we want immediately to learn this function validated. So this function will validate all the inputs of the user in this form. As simple as that. So let us actually put a little bit of things inside our form. So first of all, let us actually put some other components or labels that we want. I can just write maybe dot font here, just like that, and put maybe email or phone. You can change to your own liking the names of the classes, but don't worry, it doesn't add up to a lot of things, but make sure you are actually doing this on your own. And in this case, let us put an input. So let me put an input here. So our input is going to be a text, but however, I want to do something here. I want to turn autocomplete off. Have you ever seen maybe some other times you are doing maybe you are inputting your details, but they are auto-completing your details? Make sure you turn this off. This is a cool feature in HTML forms. Let us give a name of our input and let us put email. And after this, we need to put something here. Now, what do we need to put? We need to put an error. So this error, it's going to be shown once the user has placed a wrong email. So in this case, maybe the user didn't post anything because we are not using regex. We are not using those ones, those regular expression. What we are using is just simple validation. So we will not go crazy on the regex part. We just need to use simple validation. So in order to actually display something, we need to put in the error message. So let me just give it an ID for the email error, email underscore error, just like that. And let's put maybe please fill up your email or phone if they are using a phone, something like that. Then let us put another input that the user is going to put. Let's put a label, and let's put a label for maybe 2 classes, so that we can actually decorate that font very well. So we can put here 2 classes, just like that. And let us put a label here called password, and let us also put the input. So we can actually create an input here. So this input is going to be type password, not text, because we want it to be hidden. So type password, and the name is also going to be password. So this is the name of our input. It's also going to be password, just like that. So let us also put the error message that we want. Is going to have an ID called pass underscore error. Click tab and let us say please fill up your password, like that. Finally, let's put a button. So this button is going to be on submit button. So you can just write login. And to wrap things up, let us put a script tag here to show that we do have a JavaScript file to work with our HTML form. So you can just say validation .js, just like that, and click save. Let us make sure that we have create validation.js right here. Just like this one. You can see that my HTML is prompting me that there's an error or something like that because I haven't placed in the labels. But you can disable that by just hovering around, go to quick fix and ignore the label accessibility, and you are good to go. But make sure you do have labels inside your from HTML document. So let us go exactly to the JavaScript file. Now, where do we start? We need to take the inputs of our form. So in order to do that, JavaScript is very intelligent. As long as you connect it, it has got accessibility to what we call the DOM. So the DOM is like a document object model. As the name suggests, it's just access to the variables or the elements inside your page. So the DOM is very essential if you are playing around with the interface and whatnot. So in order to get the inputs, just put a comment right here. So remember, we can have a variable. I can just say email here, and let's say email is equal to document and document dot forms, because remember what you're trying to do is to make sure that the input, the document object model is making sure that it has good access to the elements inside your page. So inside our page, we do have a form. So the document object model has got a method called forms which access the elements inside the form. So in this case, what we want is the name of the form. So you put a square bracket, and you can access the form as also a number or an index, or like this. So make sure you access a form with also a name of the form. So remember, our form is just a form. Then you can go to the name of the element of the form as an email, just like this. So let us go to var password as well, and we are good to go. Now we also need to get information to get the divisions where we do have our error messages, because we can just display that message any time. We need to make sure that we access the element and control in order to make sure that our elements are available in whenever we need them. So let us do var email underscore error, if you can remember, underscore error. And in this case, what we need is document dot. Now this time around, we're not going to do forms because we want to access these elements on their own without using the forms or whatnot. We want to access, because remember, they are just divisions inside the form. So they do have IDs. So we need to get that element by an ID. How cool is that? It's so easy. With a little bit of practice, you can get hang on what's happening. So let us also have password error, which is called pass underscore error, and we are good to go. Now we have accessed the DOM, we have learned about event handlers, we have learned about the DOM. Now we want to learn about event listeners. So event listeners are just like, they are listening to what's happening on the page. What is happening? Once they listen, if something is happening on the page, I must do something. So remember, an event listener it takes an action and a function. That's the whole part of an event listener. So for example, if you are putting an email and you put a dot. Remember, an email is a name of an input. So inside that input, put an event listener. So in order to add an event listener, it's just the way that add event listener. So what we need to do is we just need to put add event listener and put the event listener. I want to have text input, and inside that text input, I also want to have a function. So we'll create a function below called email underscore verify, and this is going to be our function. Don't worry about the naming. It's going also we'll fix that later on. So let us also have password. Just like that, we will have pass underscore verify to simplify the naming. So what is happening here is that our event listener is going to listen to text input. So text input is an event. So we want to listen to this event. Then if we have listened, if something is happening, is there's someone putting text, what do you want? You want to verify. So this is going to be a function below. So before we go to those functions, let us actually do our event handler. So event handler is a function that we have actually placed in to our index.html here. So we want something to happen. If someone submits our form, we want something to happen to check if there is something else. So we can actually put function validation or validate. I think it's validate, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, validated. Yeah, it was like this. So it's not taking any parameters. Now inside the function, what do we want to do? We want to check if email dot value dot length is less than 9. So it wants to check if that value is less than 9, and you put if the length of the value that you have inserted in the email section is less than 9. If it is less than 9, what do you want to do? I want to put email dot style. So we are going to put our styles. We want to make sure that the color changes. So in HTML, in JavaScript, there is a method called styles, which you can apply CSS values. So you can write the email.styles dot border. So I can just put border 1 pixel and lead. So in this case, what you're trying to do is checking if there is if your email is actually less than that, so it will apply lead lines along the inputs. Now let us continue. Let us make sure that our email error, remember this one now is dot style dot display. So this property actually shows the error message. So we can actually put here display is equal to block. So it actually displays that one, and we can put the last one email dot focus. So to make sure that we are able to see these ones, they look like they are selected. That's why it's called focus. And at the end, we want to return false. We don't want to actually show this. We don't want to actually show or not actually show, but we do not want to actually submit the email because it's not collected. It's not well validated. Now, if I can copy the section here and let me put For password, and just change here, maybe password, just like that. So right here as well, and here pass error, and here password dot focus. Is as simple as that. And here let us put 6 if it is like 6, but the list is the same. Now we are done with this. Let us go to our pass verify and email verify. So speaking of email verify, we can just like this, our function. Remember, these are the functions that we want. So I can just verify to check if email. Let me just copy the same thing because it's going to be the same thing right here, but in this case we have now verified. So we are just making sure that it goes on. So we make sure that if it is correct, it goes on. So here let me put silver here to look cool. Here let me actually put if the length is greater than or equal to 8, you are good to go. And let me close this one. All right, and here we are returning true, not false. We want this one to continue. Now let us go to password, and here just like function verify, and put here, take this code, copy and place it here, and making sure that my password is greater than and equal to 5. And here let me turn this to silver, and here let me turn this to none, so I don't want to display the error message, and I want this one to proceed to true, like that. So we are actually done with our JavaScript. So this is what you really need in verifying your inputs in a CSS file. But there are lots of ways you can do this. There are lots of tools out there, but I just want you to get started to see the backbone of our a login page. Let us go to CSS. So on our CSS, let me just like styles.css, like that, because this one we don't necessarily need it right here, but let's get it going so that we can have a little bit of fun in creating this. But make sure you also have you also create your own styles that you want. So let us put an asterisk so that we can apply to all the elements our features that we want. So let us put an asterisk, and we do not want padding. So we do not want padding and margin, and just like that. And on our body, I'm just closing here because I believe that you have a little bit of knowledge on CSS. So on background, I do have an image. So that image is called bg underscore image, and dot jpg dot jpg. So at the end I can just say no repeat. So I don't want my image to repeat, and let us add background size. Background size to cover. So I want my background to cover the whole section and whatnot. And I want to align items center. So anyway, these are just properties that you can find in CSS. I want to justify my content, so play around with this as actually taught in the last section, and to do so. So I want to display flex. So flexbox is another tool that you can use to display your elements. And font family, I want it to be sans serif, just like that, because I know that most of you PCs, they support sans serif. So let's go to our container. To access the class of the container, we just like .container and put in here. So we have a property called position and position called relative. So what it means when you say position relative, it means we have the capability of positioning our elements, but I want to make sure that they're inside our parent element. So our parent element is the body, so make sure that they're inside the body. So that's what it means. So you can just put here margin top 100 pixels, and put here width. Width we can put 450 pixels. I think that we want. Height, we can just put auto, because maybe in the future we can actually add other inputs as well. Our background, let me put this off-white background called DDE. You can just say it in Chichi or DDD. Let's put border radius. So border radius, to make sure that our form has good rounded borders. We'll put 5 pixels right here. Now let us go to our labels. So remember that label is the title of the page. We don't need to do much of that one, because basically it doesn't add anything important. So let us put padding 20 pixels up and down, and let us put 130 pixels left to right. And the font size I want to be 35 pixels. I don't want it to be that huge, of course. And the font weight, let me put it as bold right here. The color, because our form is white, the color I want it to be a little bit of bluish, I think. So let me put a little bit of bluish, just like so. I think that will work. You can actually change the color that you want. And also let us put the login form here. So remember, the login form is the form that we do have actually. So the login form, it will actually help us to access some of the elements inside. So the login form, I can just put padding here and put 20 pixels up and down, and 40 pixels right and left. Let me remove this semicolon right here. And also let us actually go to the elements inside. So to access the element inside, we can just like login form, not this input, but dot font. Remember that class? So this is how you can access. So what it means here is that the font element is inside the login form. So the login form is the parent element, which has got a class dot login, and the dot font is the child of that element. So that's what it means. So let me put the font size. So the font size here is going to be 18 pixels, and the color, okay, the color is going to be this one, because we are dealing with a white background, so make sure that our color remains bluish. You can change it to any color you want. So let us put a margin. So our margin is going to be 5 pixels from top to bottom and 0 in sideways. That's how you can write the short form of margin. So we have actually dealt with the text inside our login form. So let us put the inputs, how they are going to look. So you can just like login, and here we can just put input, how our input is going to look like. So we do have the height. So height is going to be 40 pixels. So, and our width is going to be 350, because we want our text to actually fill the placeholder. And our padding is going to be 0 from top to bottom, and the 5 pixels from sideways. What else? Our font size. So the font that put there, how it's going to be 18 pixels. And our outline. So we don't want any outline. Let's put none here. Our border. So our border is going to be one pixel solid, and let me put silver here. So this is how our inputs are going to look like. Let us go to font 2. So font 2 is the text below. You just need to make sure that it has got space from the form above it. So you can just say login form dot font 2. Put here dot font 2. Now in this case, what I need is a margin top. Make sure that we do have a space. So I just put 30 pixels right here. And let us actually decorate the button. We shouldn't forget the button. So let's put login. Remember, login form is the parent of this element. So let us put margin to the button. 46 pixels, 0, and 30 pixels, 0 pixels. So actually this is the top, the sideways, and the other side. We just need to shift the button somehow to another side as well to make it look cool. That is the case. And let us put the height of the button. So the height is going to be 45 pixels, and the width, make sure that our pattern is a little bit presentable. So we can just put here 365 pixels. And the font size. So the font size is the font that will appear inside the button. Let us put it 20 pixels, just like that. The color of the text, I want it white. Let's say white. And the outline, I don't want the outline here, and let us put it on none, and let us actually become more fancier. Let us put the cursor to become pointer, and you can see I'm just playing around with these properties right here. You can actually play around with them to practice how they work. And the font weight of the text, I want it to be bold, and the background of my button, let us change this a little bit. The background, let me put this different color, go the 1A, the 3, 7E. Yeah, this is like a little bit of bluish lining. The border radius, and I want to put it 3 pixels. I don't want to be more dramatic. The border, let's put 1 pixel. It's solid. Let me put another color, 3949 A B. It's a little bit bluish. That's good. And let's put a little bit of transitioning. So transition, actually it's just animation. Transition, we have actually tested this one before. We can just put transition of 0.5. So this is 0.5 seconds, and we are good to go. So that means we want to transition our button somehow. Yes, definitely. But we'll see that later on if we can actually do that. So let us put a hover pseudo element. Call them pseudo element. They are just extra features that are available. So in order to do that, we put a colon here and put hover. So hover is like what happens if you hover over the button. You just want to change it to another color, just like that. So let me just put another color, maybe 51 C6A. Yeah, it's not going to change much, but we don't want to be more dramatic. And let us put the class, the styles of our error messages. So let us put login right here. So inside our parent, we want to access our IDEs. So we do have email underscore error. So in order to style another ID, we just put a semicolon here. So login form here, and just put pass underscore error like so. So inside here, we just need to put margin top 5 pixels, width 345 pixels, and font size, for instance, let me put 18. So make sure we maintain whatever we are doing, and definitely we are changing on color. On color we are changing, let's make it reddish. I think let's go with this color C6 28. I think this one is good. It's a little bit reddish. Yeah. And let us go to background. Right. So on our background, we just need to make sure that our black background it's a little bit reddish. So we can go with RGBA. So that we can have a little bit of transparency. So we do have 255, which is LED, colon 0 0. We are playing around with LED and making sure that our opacity is 0.1. We don't want to actually appear that much. And text alignment, want it to be center. right here. So let's go to padding. Padding, we want it to be 5 pixels and 8 pixels top, left and right. Let us go to border radius. Border radius to be 3 pixels, and my border, I want to be 1 pixel solid, and let us put another color which is a little bit of pink, EF 9A, just like that. Then we want to display this. We want to display this none because in JavaScript we have actually expressed it to display block. So we want to make sure that we have made it display display none. Now let us actually let me drop in my picture here, my background picture, and let me add my CSS right here at the top. So let me just put a link, my CSS here, and I am done. Let me save this one and save my CSS here. We do have an error, which is not a big deal. It's just a warning. View problem, property font size unknown. It's not a big problem. Let us run this to check our project, what we have done so far. So this is what we have created when working around with this project, and you can see that we can actually light our emails and phone numbers, and we can also have light our password. If I click here on login, you can see that there is an error message that it's prompting us, please fill up your email or phone. And if we fill our email and click login, you can see that there is also a prompt that we need to fill our password.